Holy cats, there's something in my eye.
Oh, that classic opening catchphrase.
What's up to all our sidekicks and henchfolk out there in the Mother-Loving Geek Nation? You're currently tuning in to the CultPop podcast. Episode 36, a show where we talk about movies and television and comics, Margot Robbie's arches, and all the other things that scratch your nerdy itches. We're coming to you live from the Young Junk HQ, a bomb-ass production space in Philadelphia, PA.
The what? The what? The Young Junk?
Young Junk. No, not Young Junk.
What?
It's nope. It's not Young
Is
Junk.
That, wait, is
That's
that
a
what,
very
is
different...
that what this bum-ass studio production space is called now?
Did you miss that?
Yeah,
It's been in the introduction for weeks.
I thought it was called
And it was
something
specifically
else.
explained to us that the name is
I don't think I was there that time.
Young Junk, because it's the Manny Yunk.
I understand.
So Young Junk
It's
podcast.
An affectionate shortened form. And
it was
junk
also-
rhymes with it.
And also,
I like it.
I believe the initial pronunciation of Manny Yunk was Man Yunk.
Yeah, I read
So-
this town was called, or this area was called something else until
That's
a
a
couple
weird
of
name.
decades ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's cool.
You know why? Because they
Right?
would go there and be like, you know what? That place is something else.
Something else,
Hmm.
right? That's a place that would be in a story, and I
Yeah,
wouldn't
yeah.
mind living there.
Yeah, I would live in
think.
something else.
Yeah.
I'm your-
Anyway,
Oh,
it was
hi.
not called something else. Obviously, it was
Yeah.
called a different thing
Uh-huh.
that was, I don't know, Anglican name or something like that, and they decided to name it after the native language. I think the word was like place where water is, something like that.
We do have a water.
Mm-hmm. And it sounded something like Manayunk.
Yeah.
And so that's where that came from.
Thank
That's cool. This is called the
Young Junk
Junk
HQ.
HQ.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Bomb-ass production space in Manayunk. I'm your bright pink-loving host, Johnny Destructo of Johnny Destructo's Hero Complex, located at 4327 Main Street, Philadelphia, PA 19127. It's a super rad shop that caters to you specifically. So come on down. And my shop is very lonely because you specifically are not there to buy my
There's
stuff.
so many people, but still loneliness persists. Right. Where is that person, you say?
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I'm here for you.
You'll only be happy if all roughly 8 billion people on the planet
That's
are
right.
in your shop at once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With me tonight are
Yeah.
Brian.
Here I am.
That's it. It's
Yeah.
just the two of us again.
You want to sing it? Just the two of us.
I wanted to say just the Jew of us, but I'm not the Jewish one, so I can't. I can't make
I am
that
not
joke.
the only one here. I would do a show by myself,
Just call it
speaking
Just
directly
the Jew
to the
of Us.
camera. Yeah, then I would sing "Just the Jew of Us."
Also in the booth, there's
I
a
can't
third.
Make it if I try.
He's still going. Is our trusty producer Dylan the Great? Hi, Dylan. Can they hear you?
They sure can. How
I'm
we
so
doing,
sorry.
That's good.
Before we get into tonight's discussions, I want to take a moment to beg and plead for you to like and subscribe and click the bell notification so that you know when we come and do this stuff. And also Fresh Floppies, which is a Wednesday morning podcast wherein usually Noel and I talk about he's just chugging that water. We talk about the comics that are coming out that day, but without spoilers, except he's still going. Except today I had to do it all by my onesies. So go check it out. It was nerve-wracking because I've never done a podcast by myself before.
Did you do it in your onesie?
I sewed
That's
myself. I had a threesie on, but I sewed it all together to make it a onesie.
Oh well, anything you sew together is a onesie.
Yeah.
I think. You know what? I have a question for the listener. Right? Would you be interested in us doing one-on-one short clips called onesies, wherein we wear onesies?
Doing what though?
Well, we just, the
Whatever.
little clip, we've talked about doing short little topics,
Yeah.
right?
But in onesies?
We used to do thunder rounds,
Thunder rounds.
but we would wear onesies
Uh-huh.
and we'd call them onesies because there's only one of us. And I think that would rocket it to
Superstardom?
interstellar superstardom. Yes.
Additionally, email us at cultpopgo@gmail.com
Okay.
because no one else did it.
Talk about whatever.
Yeah.
We don't care. Anything you bring up, we'll read it and we'll talk about
We're
it.
desperate for attention. Speaking of which, Robert Monroe Jr. is up in the chat saying, "What's up, Cold Poppers?" Well, I'll
Hey.
tell you what's up, Robert. This show is happening right now, and we're going to keep doing it. Brian,
Yay.
what you been up to this week? Huh?
Oh, thank you for asking, JD.
Oh, you know
I
what?
was,
I
I
don't
was,
care.
I don't know how to take that.
I'm just doing it for the show. This is all an act.
Okay. I can still be thankful.
Yeah.
Because this is still the time then when I say stuff.
Yeah,
And that's fun.
And you're doing great.
Right?
Yeah.
So I was watching the show After Party.
Season 2.
This is season 2.
Mm-hmm.
I very much enjoyed the first season. It was a fun, like, comedy, murder, mystery, detective story.
Yes.
And you seem hesitant about that.
No, I was about to interrupt you, and then I thought, don't do that.
Go ahead.
Ah, fuck. So I tried to watch the first season because I heard that I was like, a comedy murder mystery.
Mm-hmm.
Holy cats, that's right up my alley.
Sure.
And I watched the first episode. I may have made it to the end. I'm not 100% sure.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, I don't know if this is the comedy vibes I'm looking for. But I have since heard that each episode follows a different sort of...
It's like Rashomon.
Yeah, like a different format, a different reference genre.
Oh, that too. Sorry, I thought you were going to say each one follows a different character's story throughout the episode. And you get their perspective on what happened as they remember it.
Yeah.
Or choose to say it, you know. But there is also like a different genre.
Yeah.
In the first season, it is cool. In the first season, it's pretty light. Like the one guy is an action movie genre. Ben Schwartz's is a musical genre, which is awesome. Unfortunately, most of those characters aren't back because of the nature of the show. It's not like they all gathered together again and then there was another murder.
Whoops.
Right.
Yeah.
But we've got Tiffany Haddish, Sam Richardson, and Zoe Chow. Tiffany Haddish and Sam Richardson are, I think, both in the last season and this season, more the two main characters. They're great. Tiffany Haddish plays a detective, and she is the one trying to solve the murder. Sam Richardson is, in the first season, accused of the murder, and he is an escape room designer. He's a clever guy with an analytical mind, and he wants to like clear his own name. So that's a lot of the impetus of it.
Spoiler alert! I guess it wasn't him.
Might have been.
Damn it!
Yeah,
that'd be weird though if he was them.
So, yeah, it would be weird.
Yeah. Sam Richardson, I know him from the Little Buff Boys skit in I Think You Should Leave.
Yes.
Which is a skit I absolutely hate.
Did not see that.
I hate that skit so much.
Did you watch Ted Lasso?
I did.
Well,
he was
Edwin
the
Akufu.
dad.
Yeah.
He was the dad. No?
Yeah.
Edwin
Akufu, the billionaire.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Yes. I know what you're talking about.
And he is completely different in this. He's good. Excellent range.
Yeah. He was awesome in Ted Lasso. I forgot.
He was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, season 2 is a little, I think they lean a little harder on everything being its own genre. Like one person, they cast them as like an 1800s kind of Pride and Prejudice romance story for one episode. And it is in the 1800s. Like they are all wearing those outfits and that kind of thing. And referring to things like Bitcoin sometimes for humorous effect, but in speaking like that, you know. And in the first season, it was more of an overtone, you know, but they all kind of saw things in basically the same way. This is like, oh, does she believe that she's living it when she's telling this story? And they got a conspiracy theory guy, and it's only a few episodes in, and his is like a noir kind of detective thing. So, unfortunately, it isn't quite grabbing me as much as season 1 did, but it's still a lot of fun, and there's a lot of episodes left. John Cho is in it also. And the guy that played that tall, lanky guy in The Office.
Oh, I know. I love that guy.
Later.
Yeah. Also from, what's that other show about the tech startup?
Yes. Is that the IT crowd? Is he
no.
in that one? The other one.
No, the other one.
There are 2 of them, and I don't remember the name of the other one.
That's okay.
Anyway.
Keep it moving.
He's good.
Yeah. I like him. He's great.
And he's in it.
Yeah.
He's the one that's murdered, actually.
Oh.
You find out immediately.
Oh, okay.
I mean, this is not
I
a
don't
spoiler.
think it was a spoiler. Yeah.
He's in a lot of it because it's mostly flashbacks.
Still worried about that name of that show. I can't do it.
Yeah.
I have been up to similarly.
Silicon Valley.
That's it.
That's it.
Nailed it.
There it is.
Good job.
Thank you.
Best Barbie review ever, says Chavez. Thanks. We haven't done it yet.
Thank you, Chavez.
That's the kind of enthusiasm I like.
One of my oldest friends, a Chavez I've known for quite some time.
Really?
And you just be patient. We'll get there.
Okay.
But we're going to talk about other stuff first.
Including Better Call Saul, which the 6th season wrap up last year And I just finished it because it finally dropped on Netflix, and I was really excited because I'd binged 1 through 5. Every time my son went up for a nap, I would go and lay in the bed with him and nap with him, make sure he didn't like bonk his head. And I would sit there with my phone, and I would just have my headphones in, and I would watch an episode of Better Call Saul.
Very good.
And then I couldn't get any more because it wasn't streaming anywhere.
Oh.
It finally dropped on Netflix, I don't know, a couple months ago.
Oh, that wasn't originally a streaming thing. That's right.
Yeah.
It was on a television network.
Yes.
So yeah,
it finally dropped, and I finished up all 6 seasons of Better Call Saul, and I poo-pooed.
Did you?
When people would say, "Oh, you got to watch it. It's almost as good, if not better, than Breaking Bad," and I went balderdash and knuckle pussy. I don't believe it. And I was wrong to not believe it. It
really
is as good, if not better, than Better Call Saul. I mean, than Breaking Bad.
It's interesting when a thing is as good
as itself. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, than Breaking Bad. It is so good. It's so good.
That's what I've heard.
It's got Bob Odenkirk, who you probably remember from the Mr. Show. Did you ever watch Mr. Show? Sketch comedy.
I mostly know the one hilarious commercial for that show.
Oh, really?
Where it's the line, they're singing a song, like this very inspirational song, but the guy's line, David Cross, I think, is just laying in bed all day. And the one line is, "Lie in bed all day like an eagle hunting prey."
Classic eagle.
Yeah.
Eagle
but I didn't have HBO at the time, so I mostly know him from just like being around in shows. Also in The Office in a later. He plays a boss that he was considered for the role of Michael Scott.
Oh.
And way late in The Office, Pam goes to get a job somewhere, and it's Bob Odenkirk playing a season 1 Michael Scott.
Nice.
And she's like, "I can't do it."
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, Bob Odenkirk, Ray R-H-E-A, Ray Seahorn, Giancarlo Esposito.
Rhea. Like Rhea Perlman.
Oh, yeah. Rhea Seahorn. Giancarlo Esposito and Jonathan Banks. This show is so goddamn good. It is a slow burn. Like every episode, I feel like is a slow burn. And it has occurred to me to go back and rewatch it, and I'm like, would I sit through all of that again? It's such a slow thing. But the experience after it's all said and done, it's still sitting with me. The series finale, like I'm still ruminating on it. I'm still thinking about it. And Sushan hasn't seen it, so she wants to watch it. So I'm like, I'll go back and watch that again.
Sure.
But yeah, it certainly is one of those shows that trusts its audience to take its time, and kind of just be along for the ride. It's so. Did you ever watch Breaking Bad?
No.
Oh, on purpose, or you just?
I forget if it was on a network that I didn't have. I think it was at HBO.
I don't remember.
All right. Probably not if Better Call Saul is on Netflix. But no, I heard it was really good. And then later on, I was like, I don't know that I feel like watching a show about
AMC.
A guy turning bad. And I know it's a very complicated gray situation for sure. But I was like, whatever.
All right. Fair enough.
Yeah.
It is. Breaking Bad was one of my all-time favorite shows.
Is that right?
So the fact that Better Call Saul is just neck and neck with it, pretty impressive for me.
That's cool.
Yeah, I did not expect that.
Expressed interest in Better Call Saul, though.
It's great.
I've heard it's
also
good,
got
if not better.
Michael McKean.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Great.
All right. Yeah, he is good.
Yeah, he's awesome. It's wow, 2 comedians that are doing dramatic roles.
Dramatic things, which I have long found just sort of interesting aesthetically, to see someone that I'm familiar with as a comedian doing dramatic stuff.
Yeah.
I always like it when I see John Lithgow or Robin Williams doing a dramatic role, that kind of thing.
1 Hour Photo, is that what that was called?
Yes.
He did like a creepy stalker movie.
He did. Yeah. That was a good movie. Insomnia, he was very good in. Yeah. What Dreams May Come is one of beautiful film.
Yeah.
I'd say one of my top, I'm not going to give it maybe a top largish number. Yeah. But it's towards the top of the many movies I've seen.
So yeah, anyway, if you haven't watched it, I would say, because people have been asking me, should I watch Better Call Saul or Breaking Bad first? And I really do think that it behooves you to watch Breaking Bad and then Better Call Saul if you're going to watch both of them.
Right.
If you're doing the Brian bit and just jumping into Better Call Saul, you can do that.
Excellent.
You can do it. You may miss certain things at the end there because certain characters from, you probably don't even know, Better Call Saul is a prequel.
I did know that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then towards the end, it is also a sidequel.
That would be weird if I just thought you should watch this other unrelated show.
Well, it could have been a sequel.
Oh, that's true.
Right,
Actually,
a
that's a good
continuation.
point.
Yeah.
Right. No, I knew it was a prequel.
Or
Like how
yeah,
he gets to be the guy.
It's a prequel, a sidequel, and a sequel, all in one show.
Side and sequel?
Yeah.
It
jumps around,
a
baby.
triple quill.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, check it out if you so moved. AMC. Thank you, Chavez. I
There it
appreciate
is.
that. All right. We're here to talk about Barbie.
The movie.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
true. Not our collections.
I played with a lot of dolls this past week in preparation because I thought that's what we were talking about.
Ooh, I was not
But
clear.
It's luck you were very unclear. You said we're doing Barbie,
Yeah.
and there were 15 exclamation points, and
Yeah.
and
I
was
did
like,
go ham on
I'm-
the exclamation points.
Well, I thought it deserved it. I was like, I'm going to do Barbie then.
Yeah.
And how do you do Barbie? But buy 40 to 55 Barbie dolls and play with
Yeah.
them. And so that's what I did. But luckily, I did take a little break and I saw the movie Barbie too.
Oh,
Yeah.
this would have been really embarrassing.
Yeah.
Directed by Greta Gerwig, written by Gerwig and Noah Baumbach, starring Margot Robbie?
I think I've always heard Robbie,
Robbie?
but I've
also heard Robbie.
I don't know.
Margot Robbie,
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling, Kate McKinnon, Issa Rae, Michael Cera, America Ferrera, Rhea Perlman, Will Ferrell, and Simu Liu?
I am not sure the
Simu
Simu Liu is
Yeah.
how I would assume, but I could be wrong
Yeah, I believe
about
it's
that.
Simu Liu. From the 10 Rings.
Yeah, Shang-Chi.
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 Yeah.
And also Shooty Gachwa. I did not hear that name being mentioned.
Who to
in
what
your
now?
list.
Who's that?
Shooty Gachwa.
Tell me more.
He is one of the Kens.
Mm-hmm.
He's a black man with blonde hair
Okay.
in the film. You remember him?
Maybe.
He was one of the main Kens. I would say one of the 5 main Kens.
He's not the guy from Secret
He's
Invasion.
not the guy from Secret Invasion. Who it took me a little. I was like fairly deep in the movie, and I was like, Secret Invasion. That's where it's very different.
Did everyone shush you?
No, they were into it. They were like,
"Oh,
oh
Secret
yeah,
Invasion,
right.
yay!"
He's so different
Yeah,
in this.
you did it.
Yeah. And it felt really nice. You know?
Good.
Yeah. So Shooty Gachwa is the upcoming Doctor in Doctor Who.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
So he will be David Tennant's coming back for a 3-episode special, and then he's maybe in those a little bit or whatever, but he's the regular Doctor after
Oh,
that. Yeah.
cool.
And he's had some press photos released. It looks really cool.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was really excited for the previous Doctor
Me
Who.
too. Yes.
And I found the episodes to be boring. I love her.
She did a great job.
She's fantastic.
The
episodes I found to be boring.
There were a lot of things going on with those
And
episodes.
she had like
that-
9 sidekicks.
that was, I would say, the major problem.
Like,
was
ugh.
too much going on, and I had she was my favorite premiere of a Doctor since David Tennant.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is amazing. And there were times when she shines, but oh well.
Hopefully this will be the one that gets me into Doctor Who.
It might be.
I keep trying.
There's always a chance.
Barbie and Ken are having the
Yeah.
time of their lives in the colorful and seemingly perfect world of Barbie Land. However, when they get a chance to go to the real world, they soon discover the joys and perils of living amongst humans. A film hailed by some as cheeky, existential, and hilarious, but also
who hailed it as that?
hated by some idiots,
Huh.
calling it an alienating, dangerous, and perverse film, and claiming they won't be happy until we're all gay.
Oh.
Even Elon Musk got upset by how many times the word patriarchy was used. Brian,
Yes.
did this movie make you gay?
I don't think that it was in this movie's power to change my sexuality or confirm it. But
People seem to think it had something to do with something like that.
well, no, those people just won't be happy until we are all gay. I think these are people who are willing to slaughter everyone who is not gay.
Uh-huh.
And
Yeah.
because I don't know why they think these people exist, but I've never run afoul of that.
Okay.
So yeah,
What did you think of Barbie?
I loved it.
That was delightful.
I thought it was amazing.
Whoa.
And I'll tell you what, I saw that alienating, dangerous, and perverse
Yeah.
thing, right? And I gotta say, in the positive sense of the word, it is all those things. It is, you know what I mean? Like, perverse in the sense that it challenges the status quo, alienating in that it drives you away from the way that you have always accepted things to be in that sense. And I guess dangerous to, bad stuff.
Yeah. Dangerous to Ben Shapiro.
He seems to have allowed it to be so.
My man's done made two videos about Barbie that, from my understanding, almost equal the length of the film itself.
Oh, is that right?
Where he's
Deep
just
dive.
railing against it and buying Barbies to then throw on a grill and set aflame.
I saw that. And I saw him in the black shirt and pants Ken cosplay that he
Oh, is that
wore.
really?
I mean, he actually wore those things, I think.
Yeah.
But I think one of the things he posted is at the theater in the black shirt and black pants. And I saw somebody online point out, like, oh, Ken wears this outfit in the movie.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that. Yeah.
Well, it's that big dance scene.
That's cool.
It's a big scene.
I remember the scene. I just don't remember that Ken was wearing black on black.
All of them were wearing black on black.
I don't remember it.
All right.
I'm not what one would call observant.
Okay.
So go on.
It was literally the only thing on screen at that time. This was that scene where there is a blank white background and all of the Kens are wearing black and only black.
I was staring at my popcorn.
Okay. I forgot that's how you like to absorb the movie.
I poured my M&Ms into my popcorn and I was just sifting
Sure.
to the bottom to get my M&Ms.
You don't want to eat them together.
No.
You just enjoy the Plinko-like game of the M&Ms going through the popcorn.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not the only one. Don't judge me.
You probably couldn't be.
So anyway, Hoomst.
Yeah. What
Tell me more about Barbie.
Oh, I loved it. That earlier is a lot about how I feel about it. I loved how it challenged. It was a classic challenge the status quo movie.
Yeah.
And I love that kind of movie, right? And they did it very well. They brought her through the paces of everything is great and normal, and then things start to go different, and the way she reacted to it is
your
great.
feet are all of a sudden, your heels are touching the ground. Ugh.
If my heels were shaped this way, I would never wear heels. You know?
That's a good
great
line. Yeah. A lot of good lines. A lot of good one-liners.
Throughout, right? There was not more than 5 minutes where there wasn't some line that I was like, oh, what an enjoyable or humorous thing to have said. It's just one of those movies that just carries you through. And it was great. I love a good movie about finding the truth of oneself, that kind of thing. I really enjoyed a lot of the philosophical aspects of it, reference to, I kind of had the idea, which they maybe contradict in the actual movie a little bit, but at other times it seems like, the idea of the realm of forms that Plato talks about, right? So Plato was wondering, how do we know that different things, for instance, called a chair, are all chairs, even though they look completely different, right? But I can say that's a chair, and that other thing that you could sit on is not a chair, So he thought,
that's a human being.
Yeah. I could sit on it.
Yeah.
Not a chair. Unless it assumes the form of a chair and wants to act in that function, right?
Oh, okay.
The human can choose.
Okay.
So, yeah. So don't be so fast, JD.
I'm sorry.
Not to sit on someone. So he wondered, is there this realm of forms where there are these, like, ideal shapes of things? And somewhere there is this, like, the prototypical ideal chair.
Yeah.
And we connect to that in some way. And that's how we know that there's what a chair is. And so I've always found this to be a really interesting idea. Obviously there's nothing in our physical experience that says that's how it is, but even if it's not physical, maybe it's more of a Gestalt kind of thing, like reference to all of our knowledge kind of thing, whatever. Very fascinating metaphysics. And I found that Barbie kind of was that in a way, right? Like this Barbie land seems to be like the ideal forms of these Barbies. Like Weird Barbie was maybe not one Barbie that was played with too much.
I see.
But all of them.
Yes.
And because I wondered, are there other Barbie lands? Like as many stereotypical Barbies exist as there are dolls in the world. Yeah. Which the movie definitely does seem to indicate, but also kind of doesn't seem to indicate.
It falls apart when she is the specific Barbie of this family.
Right. rather
Yeah.
than any Barbie.
Yeah,
But
just
who
an
knows?
amalgamation of all the Barbies in the world, or the stereotypical Barbies.
Right, that kind.
Yeah,
Now something that isn't contextual in the film at all, but like maybe when she leaves, there is another stereotypical Barbie there,
Yeah.
who is all the other Barbies.
Mm.
And you certainly only see Barbie Land as one area
yeah,
that appears to not be that big.
Mhm.
But anyway, I loved that.
Yeah.
Just that thought of she even says it at the end. Spoilers.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah. You know, I don't want to be an idea anymore. I want to be one of the people that makes the ideas.
Mhm.
You know, so she kind of talks that way.
Mhm.
And on that topic too, I looked up. Remember when they try to convince her to get back in the box,
Mm-hmm.
and she says this smells like a Proustian memory. I looked it up.
Uh-huh.
I remembered the name Proust, but not anything about
Yeah,
what
I
his
knew-
deal is.
Yeah, I
you
knew
know. Yeah, he's a
the
guy.
name, but not the.
he said a lot of intriguing things, you know. And I've heard of him as as a philosopher, but this was apparently from a story
Uh-huh.
where somebody eats a Madeline cake dipped in tea, and that experience takes them back to childhood immediately.
Oh.
Like can happen with any of us, right?
Yeah.
So that's what she meant. And I was like, oh, that's amazing. A Proustian
What?
memory.
What?
Like, what a cool way to phrase it.
Yeah.
And that the smell of the box was her beginning. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Yeah, it was
That's
cool.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, holy cats.
Yeah.
I am with you up until a point.
Okay.
I really enjoyed the movie. I went by myself, and I was just in a packed theater. Oh, so I can't remember the last time a theater was completely sold out.
Yeah, I know, right?
I went to go to the Main
Yeah.
Street Theater here in Manjunk,
Hmm.
and it couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So I had to drive up to King of Prussia, and luckily there was one. King of Prussia had
A lot of theaters.
it
Yeah.
was playing every hour almost.
Yeah.
So I was able to just quick hop up to King of Prussia and watch it, and also packed theater.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a delightful time. It was really funny.
Yeah.
Great energy in the crowd, which I
Yeah.
appreciated. I really love going to the theaters and having a good crowd experience where everyone seems to be vibing together and enjoying the thing that's happening.
Can I tell you that 2 young girls came up to Tamara, my fiance, because she had dressed in this pink dress and heels,
Uh-huh.
and 2 young girls came up and they were like, well, one came out, are you going to see Barbie? And then she was like, yes, I am, you know. And then the girl sitting in front of us turned around and was like waving at her.
Oh.
And I was like, you know, she's like, Tamara's a very elegant, beautiful woman. And she was there looking like Barbie.
Yeah.
And these girls were into it. And that was
That's
cool.
really sweet.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. All flocks, herds of I wouldn't say women, people in bright pink all throughout Manayunk. They were just walking in packs. They were all clearly either going to or coming from seeing Barbie in their cosplay, their outfits, their hot pink outfits. It was so cool. I love to see it. I saw someone tweet something about this is Black Panther Wakanda Forever for white women.
Sure.
Yeah. A lot of people getting together specifically to go see a film, which that tickled me.
Implored to wear pink. The other 2 ladies that we went with did wear pink.
You didn't wear pink?
I don't have any.
Oh.
I don't own any pink. You do, and I like that
Hot
shade of
pink
pink
is
too.
my favorite color. Hot
I
pink
know.
and black.
This I know.
And so that's why my logo is hot pink and black.
It's a good color combination.
Yeah, I love it.
But it's not a color that I wear. You know what I mean? It's
Yet.
not one of my colors.
Yet.
There's
still time.
There is
time to change.
Yeah.
I thought it was smart, hilarious. I don't think I cried. I'm a pretty easy mark when it comes to getting choked up. I don't think I cried. But I did feel the emotion of America Ferrera's monologue about being a woman, which I thought was pretty strong.
I got choked up when Barbie is first in our world, the real world anyway, and sits down on that bench, and she's like having that.
She meets the elderly woman?
Yes.
Yeah.
When she met the elderly
woman. Is she somebody? Or was that just...
I don't think she's anyone you would know.
Okay,
or
I
at
wasn't
least she's
sure
no
if-
one I would know.
Like Rhea Perlman. I was like,
Yes.
oh.
Yeah. As soon as Rhea Perlman's character said her name, I was like, I don't know what the creator of Barbie's name is, but I bet
that's
it's that.
her. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was sweet. Yeah.
Yeah.
She said, "Was you so beautiful?" And she goes, "I know it."
Yeah.
Or something like that.
I love
It's
that.
very cute.
And then they smiled at each
Yeah,
other.
yeah,
It
lovely,
was great.
lovely interaction. So yeah, I think the only issue I have is, and it's not even really an issue.
Mhm.
It's just at the end, everything is. Let's see. So the film is very much against the patriarchy,
Yes.
right? Rightly so.
Mhm.
But at the end of the movie,
Mhm.
in order to fix it, it becomes a matriarchy.
It does.
As
With
opposed
some
to-
advancements for Ken.
I think I would have preferred the two groups of people,
Mhm.
men and women,
Mm-hmm.
being able to work in harmony,
Co-run.
a co-run
land.
thing,
That would
as
be great.
opposed to it's all this or all this. It just feels like the message gets a little muddled. That's all.
So I was hoping for that as well,
Yeah.
as we hope for it in the real world.
Yeah.
Right? Then at the end, because that's what would be right,
Mhm.
right? At the end, one of the Kens says, "Can I be a Supreme Court justice?" And they
Yeah.
said, "No, but you can be a lesser court judge."
Uh-huh.
Not unlike the limitations of
Hmm.
feminist
Right.
egalitarianism has
Right.
come in the real world.
Yeah.
So I think that in the beginning of the movie, it is a pure matriarchy
Mhm.
with absolutely no
That's true.
attention paid to Ken at all.
That's
right?
true. Yeah.
And in fact, I thought it was one of the more interesting aspects of the film where Ken comes out and he sees that it doesn't have to be that way.
hmm
And he is completely right. He goes overboard, but not, you can understand where he's coming from.
Hmm.
He has been almost nothing
Yeah.
for his
Yeah.
entire existence,
A,
right?
a non-entity almost.
Right. And so he does go overboard and he does things that he shouldn't do,
Yeah.
but it is a definite role reversal of the men and women in
Yeah.
our world and their positions. So he is acting out what it would be like if you
Mhm.
were, maybe he's more like a woman from the, 9th century or whatever.
Yeah.
You don't even have to go that far back. But and obviously he's an
10th.
idea. Yeah, 10th to be safe.
Yeah.
Right.
Whew.
Yeah,
Disaster averted.
right.
10th
So,
century.
Anyway, yeah, it's interesting. It doesn't matter who's on the bottom. They shouldn't be on the bottom.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, it would have been cool if everything had worked out well and
Mhm.
they were in a complete balance after that.
Yeah.
But I think some of the movie was saying like, there are strides that have been made. Those are good.
Yeah.
They are not enough,
hmm
but it's still good.
Yeah.
You
It's
know?
still it's
But,
the
yeah.
pendulum swinging the other way entirely, and so I assume
Hmm.
in the future, when the pendulum swings, it's generally to a much higher degree, a little more dramatic
Hmm.
than say being in the middle there, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah.
I found that the pendulum swing is seemingly a core concept of our reality and our knowledge. Everything goes back and forth.
Yes,
It seems.
yes.
Space, right? We used to think was, I don't know what they thought originally, maybe empty, and then they thought, oh no, it's a physical thing that
Mm.
the stars are actually set in these crystal spheres, and then they were like, no, that's not the case, and they're like, oh, it's ether, so we're back to substance, and then they're like, no, there's no ether, it's
Yeah.
empty again, and then we're like, oh, well, actually, space-time has a form that can be affected by gravity. It's this
Yeah.
pendulum swing of our understanding, and it happens with social movements
Mhm.
and
Politics.
action and reaction
Yeah.
and that sort of thing. Yeah.
So yeah, that's my one tiny little thing.
Yeah.
And I don't even care that much about it.
Right.
It was just kind of like,
Yeah.
that's an interesting choice to make.
Mhm.
But still, all the way through, I thought delightful, very, very funny. There was I laughed a lot.
Mhm.
So yeah,
I loved that Will Ferrell's character
Huh?
was both, they pointed out that he's one of like 20 men in this thing, this company geared towards the hopes and dreams of young girls.
yeah,
But he also is not a villainous guy. He
yeah,
fully supports those things.
Mhm.
Like should maybe be getting outside input.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And they rightfully point that out in a very sardonic way.
Yeah.
But it would have been very easy for them narratively to make him, the
Mustache twirling.
mustachioed
Yeah.
with stacks in behind his industrial Barbie factory.
Yeah, yeah.
And they didn't do that at all. He's
Mhm.
like, I don't care if we're making money. This is about supporting
Yeah.
the women of tomorrow.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
It was interesting that, you have the Barbie land where everything is to the nth degree of like sort of ridiculousness. But then even when she goes into the real world, there's that whole boardroom scene where they're trying to catch her.
Yeah.
And it's all very farcical. Is that the word I want to use? Like people are leaping, like she's running down the aisle and they're just leaping.
Yeah.
It's almost like a musical setting.
Well, I noticed that even a little before that, I figured that she would come to the real world.
Yeah.
A world that operates on principles like our own. And
physics.
Yeah. And there's some other stuff too and I forget what it is, but like almost as soon as she gets there, after they have that series of meeting various people, there's some things that wouldn't happen. They break reality of our world. And I was like, oh, this is the real world as a title. What this place is, right? The place that makes Barbies. This whole thing is a fantastic environment.
Yeah. So that was a little bit of a surprise too, but I was like, oh, that's kind of cool too.
Yeah.
Doesn't bother me.
Unexpected that they broke the fourth wall. Speaking of that, I did not see that coming.
Oh, I forgot.
Where Helen Mirren, as the narrator, says, she says, like, I don't feel pretty. And you're like, note to the filmmakers.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that bit.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, Margot Robbie wakes up, something has happened to her, and she feels like, oh, she's no longer the pretty version of Barbie she's always been.
Yeah.
Yeah. Note to the filmmakers, if you wanted that to, to land, you should have hired somebody else.
Because to be honest, I was, in the beginning of her speech, I was like, well, she's still very pretty.
Yeah, you're still Margot Robbie.
Right.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean she feels that way.
That's true.
Yeah.
Chris Dunn's in the chat saying, I really liked when they asked Barbie what is best in life, and she replied, to crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentations of their men. That was Barbie, right? Barbarian?
Yeah.
Barbiarian?
Well, that is where the word Barbie is. What it is a nickname for. I assume is Barbara, which means stranger or barbarian.
Was there anything in this movie you didn't like? Were you like, that didn't land for me? Or
I'll tell you what, this wasn't a specific thing that I didn't like. I found that about 3/4 of the way in the movie, it wasn't as fun as it had been in the beginning. And they were dealing with more serious themes then, but still in a very fun way. It was just, for whatever reason, for like a little bit, and right there, I was like, oh, is it taking a bit of a turn? And then I didn't feel that way by the end. Yeah. But yeah.
I had a watch check moment.
Okay.
Which just means the movie's going strong. I'm totally invested in what's happening. I'm entertained. And then at a certain point, about say 3/4 of the way through, I started to be like, oh, this is getting long.
What are we up to?
I wouldn't mind wrapping this up soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
I also didn't think this. There are multiple musical segments besides the dance in the beginning. Where is anyone else thinking about dying? There's a sequence with Ken, and they're all on the beach.
Yes.
And then they're all in the
when they're all fighting.
Yeah.
And then they find themselves in an all blank white environment wearing
all black on black.
Yes.
Oh, I remember that vividly.
You remember it? Oh, like
all
it was 1 week ago.
Yeah. Oh. I was like, oh, yeah, the black t-shirts and the black pants and the black shoes. Yeah.
That was a great song, and I loved.
That's my thing. I don't remember the song.
Oh, I loved it.
I was sitting there going, this song isn't that great.
Really?
I feel like this could be a better song.
I'll tell you what. So I loved all the songs.
Yeah.
And we can talk about the other ones, but since we're on the topic of the Ken one, I loved that the relationship between the Kens is one of like jealousy and admiration.
Yeah.
Like they are very open with their feelings, these Kens. And I love that when they're fighting, they start out that song fighting, and then they're talking about their shared experience and troubles as Kens. Yeah. And that one of the final lines is like, I am Ken.
Yeah.
And they're united now. And I loved that.
That was cute.
And I also liked how when he was crying at the end, and she's like, it's okay. And he's like, I know that, I'm an enlightened man. I know that crying doesn't make me weak. Like these Kens were excellent and just wanted to be loved, you know?
They are Ken-nuff.
Exactly. And so I loved that song.
I'm gonna go back and listen to it again, but I remember just sitting there thinking like, this isn't as catchy as I would want it to be for a musical number.
Okay.
But
I really, when it started, also the opening scene, the 2001 Space Odyssey metaphor for Barbie, Margot Robbie's like just excellent personification of a metaphorical, monolith.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. And I wondered when the girl throws up the doll,
Yeah.
which is that scene from 2001 where the monkey throws up the bone,
yeah.
and then it becomes a space shuttle, I
Mhm.
believe. And I was like, ooh, what are they going to have it turn into?
Yeah.
And it turns into the title,
Yeah.
Barbie, for the movie. I was like, oh, that was great.
Nice.
I love that.
I also like to see. I was a little horrifying to watch little girls just absolutely destroy babies.
I loved it.
Just
not to,
smashing
not that I was
baby
thinking-
dolls.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
breaking it. They could only play with
Yeah.
the dolls of babies.
Very
So now, yeah.
It has always been funny to me, growing up seeing Barbies, and my friends' reactions to Barbies,
mhm.
and then finding out that there was supposed to be like a feminist thing.
That was her whole deal.
That was her whole
right?
deal, and I was like,
I want to.
None of my girlfriends got that.
Well, I'll tell you what.
All they got was like her physique and
Sure. I'll tell you what, though. Maybe they did, and they weren't aware of getting
right.
it, in the sense, at least, of, it's easy to forget once the progress has been made
Yeah.
that there was progress at all.
Right.
And before, little girls could play with the dolls of babies and pretend to be moms.
Yeah.
Then they could play with the dolls of women and pretend to be women.
Yeah.
Right? Doing whatever they wanted to do. And yeah, the early stages of that was looking really pretty
Yeah.
and being, the ideals of a woman at that time, but it obviously branched out
Mhm.
into doctor and president and all that stuff. And I love that commentary in the movie too,
Yeah.
where the daughter
they touch on that. Yeah.
Yeah, where the daughter is like, you're a fascist. You have done all this to us.
Yeah.
And it was a big element in the film.
Yeah.
I really loved the balance of the back and forth that
Mhm.
with which this movie presented its ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was incredibly thoughtful and examined a ton of different things. The reveal that it was the mom. That this is like
I like that.
a girl who grew up playing with Barbies too, but now she's in a later stage in life,
Mhm.
where she has grown up into whatever ideal she
Yeah.
imagined.
That
of
was a great
Barbie.
reveal. I love that.
Yeah,
That was a
that
good
was
reveal. I
cool.
like that.
Oh,
Yeah.
and when she doesnn want to choose the sandals, so we
Kate McKinnon.
yes,
Kate McKinnon.
phenomenal.
I'm never unhappy to see Kate McKinnon.
She's always great.
She
Yeah.
enlivens every single project that she's a part of.
Mhm.
I love her so much.
And the whole as soon as they said oh, she's always doing the splits.
Yeah.
It's a hilarious line, and it's
Yeah.
oh yeah, that is what a doll that looks
Yeah,
like when
just
it's
whoop.
yeah. That's when it's not doing so well.
Ah.
You're right. Yeah, and when she's you can choose to go back to your old life, very
Yeah.
Matrix.
Yeah, red pill, blue pill.
Right.
Yeah.
Or this, and she's like, oh, I want to go back to my old life.
No,
Right.
you have to pick the Birkenstock.
There's not a choice. I did that to
This
make you
is the-
feel empowered. Which is also right. I couldn't fault that decision.
Mhm.
Oh, I'd like to go back to a perfect existence of ideal
Warm
you know,
showers and perfect toast. Perfect.
Right.
Yeah.
And this kind of it's not like it's less real.
Mhm.
It's just a different kind of way of
Yeah.
being. But I suppose by choosing otherwise, the lives of the Kens are helped at
Mhm.
least,
Yeah.
right? In the long run.
Mhm.
So that was nice of her. And now, what do you think about her decision to go out and be part of the real world?
What do I think of it?
That's right.
I thought it was
So that-
they made a whole movie out of it.
Good culmination of the idea. I'll tell you. Now, I like her line about I'd rather be somebody that makes ideas than an idea myself. And I get
Wait a
behind her
minute.
in that.
Oh, you're saying about the end of the film?
Yes. Yes, not to go out into the
I
real
thought
world.
you meant the beginning of
No,
the movie.
I'm
What
sorry.
did you think
What
of
do you think?
that?
Now, JD, you remember how there was
Crux
a
of the
beginning part?
film.
Sometimes I think in movies, I'm like, why didn't this movie just stay where
In
it
the
started?
Matrix.
Right?
Yeah.
It just, everything doing a little more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I kind of forgot that she made that decision at the end
Did
until
you?
just now. I was
When,
like, oh, right.
yeah.
Yeah.
When the Ruth handler, I think
Yes.
was her name.
Ah.
I also loved it, even with her. They're like, and there was a bunch of stuff with the IRS, but that's a whole other movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also
Yeah.
did these good things,
No, I thought it was an interesting change up at the end.
It's an interesting change up.
Yeah.
I thought it was very funny
Mm.
and a final, very novel, cool moment in the film where she's not going to get a job or
Right.
she's doing a normal thing. She's like, I'm going to the gynecologist,
Mhm.
which is also, as I understand it, not a pleasant experience.
Perfect
Um,
ending to the film, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole theater lost it at the
Yeah.
gynecologist.
Yeah,
bit.
yeah. And because now you have to deal with this stuff too,
Yeah.
but you get to make ideas. But I got to tell you also, when when they're in the idea realm in the beginning and
Mhm.
whatever, I'm like, that would be cool, right? You're to just exist as thought construct, an
Who says you're
idea.
not?
I know,
Maybe,
right?
maybe you are right now.
I know, but this isn't what I was thinking of.
Okay.
But I'm like, oh, and you chose to not be that. You're gonna give it up and go back to the real world. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's your choice. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought this was great. I've run out of things to say about it, I think. I'm curious as to why I haven't watched a single hate video of this. But the fact that so many people are mad at it.
Well, why do you? Come on now.
I just don't understand.
Well, you understand. I mean, you don't, and neither do I. And that is.
Is it just for clicks?
Oh, no, I'm sure some of them are. And I'm sure some of them are mad because it does, in fact, present a threatening idea to the order of.
But
how
it's not a
things have
new
been.
one.
No,
And
it's
it's
not.
presented in a Barbie movie.
Yes, which is
I just-
probably part of why they're angry. They're like, oh, my kids will see and absorb these messages that women can choose for themselves.
That's the thing. It's like, this isn't a new message,
No, it is not.
And I've seen so many people be like, oh, well, you should, this isn't a kid's movie. You shouldn't have let kids watch this movie. Like,
Not a kid's
why?
movie.
Why? What
It
is
is absolutely the earlier you can get to the idea that you should never be sure that your existence is the way things must be.
Yeah.
Earlier you can get to that idea, the better.
Yeah.
Yes.
I concur, doctor.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And it's crazy, but I think they're upset. They're worried that that idea will change the way that things are. And it is for some of these people beneficial. It is also very hard to learn a new way that things are, right?
Yeah.
We as humans, I've heard, aren't even as good as some other primates at creating novel solutions to problems. What we're really good at is
I'm sorry, professor, not doctor. Says
yes.
Chavez.
Yes. Thank you, Chavez. That is a long-time nickname that Chavez and many other people have for me. So it's hard because what we as humans are really good at is learning from each other, establishing a way that we think the world works, patterns. We're pattern-finding animals. And our ability to do that separates us from all the other animals. We don't have claws, we can't fly, we do that and other things with our brains. And once you get to a certain point, especially, your belief in your own possibility of success is invested in how well you understand the world. And when something comes along to threaten that understanding and to show you that you do not know everything about the world, you will react in fear. And that is often anger because it's extremely frightening not to know what's going on, right? That's why two religions that are so close to each other are like, wait a second. One of the two of us is wrong.
Yeah. And I don't like it. I don't like that at all.
The whole idea, even that I could be wrong, is presented by your existence.
Yeah.
Let's get you done with. Let's get you out of here, right?
Yeah.
And that's what some people do when faced with ideas that threaten how they understand the world. In addition to the people who are like, no, I like it the way things are.
Yeah.
This is good.
This is dope.
Yeah.
I get to win all the time. This is fantastic.
Exactly.
Actually, I did see one of the things. I think it was Ben Shapiro again, who was like, there's a trans actress in this movie.
Is there?
And one of the Barbies.
Is that right?
There's a trans actress in the movie, and nobody even mentions it. They just act like it's normal. Like,
Yes.
cool. That's dope.
They did act as
rad.
though that was
Yeah,
normal.
yeah.
They acted, it's hard to even phrase it because I say as though that is normal.
Yeah.
As though there is a question.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
Well, I guess obviously there is a question, but
To some, yeah.
Yes, to some. I did not notice that. And especially in a movie, you play what you play.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although there are some people that have a problem with that in other ways, playing roles that you are not.
Yeah.
So everything's a complicated issue.
And that's it. Everything's
right.
a complicated issue. Thank you for joining us.
Well, it's good to remember, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah.
You should only
You're
be
not
certain
wrong.
of two things.
What? Well, I don't have either of them. What are they?
Experience happens and I exist.
You?
Well, for me,
How do I know that?
you don't know that I
See?
exist. No, you have to
that's
say
true.
it yourself.
Oh.
Yeah.
There we go.
There you go.
I exist.
Yeah.
I'm not sure of that either.
um, if you don't exist, right, then you could ask what is not sure that it does not exist. If you are only experience, right? This was actually one of my final papers in philosophy. If there is no you, if there is only experience,
yes,
and impressions, feelings, I believe that the experience of self
is
enough to be self.
Yeah.
Right? So maybe there is a you that is substantive away from these experience, right? A soul or a you in some way. But whether or not there's an experience of self. That's you.
Nailed it. I'm me. I did it. I am Ken.
Yes.
And I am Ken Nuff.
You are.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with us, and email us at cultpopgo@gmail.com. Let us know what you thought of the Barbie film.
Yes. Please let us know.
Also,
I loved it.
Let me know what, you know what? Email me anyway, and let me know what you thought of Oppenheimer, because I really want to see it, and I haven't gotten to it yet. I'm very excited.
You know what? I feel also that we said how much we love the movie. We also, Margot Robbie was an exceptional performer in this movie. And we didn't actually talk about how well she shows that the path that she's on, you know?
Yeah, she's outstanding.
Yeah.
I think I first saw her in The Wolf of Wall Street, and I gave her no Nevermind.
No?
I had several Neverminds.
Oh.
I didn't give her a single one of them.
Oh.
And
what were you doing with them?
I was
Never mind.
hiding them away for later.
All right.
And then I saw her, maybe it must have been before her as Harley Quinn. But
Okay.
I love her as Harley Quinn. I think she's pitch perfect
Great.
as Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
And then to be this opposite type of character is really fun too. Watching her sort of spread her talents, I suppose.
Yes.
To have, room.
Yeah.
What's the word I'm looking for?
She's great. I have no idea.
Damn it.
But she's a range, could be.
Range, that's it.
There you go.
That's it.
Room starts with R.
Yeah.
And she really portrays this, like, she's got this very cerebral performance going on behind this, in the beginning, innocence.
Yeah.
And, well, really innocence throughout in some ways. Like, I think it's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was also really great as Sharon Tate in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the Quentin Tarantino film.
That's like close. We're, I think, probably about to see it.
She is absolutely the most delightful
right?
person on screen in that entire film. She's
Well, that's
fantastic. Yeah. And Michael Cera as Alan.
Oh, he was so good.
He was hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there. I read before there were so many things that I know I didn't get, right? References and, things that if it was a comic movie, I would have been like, what that thing was. That was this, and this is awesome.
Yeah.
Right? But I could, at least for some of them, tell that it was a reference to something. Like with Alan, that there's only one. And he's like, eh.
Yeah.
And the other two that show up in Weird Barbie's house. And so I just enjoyed the fact that it was a reference to something, even if I didn't have any touchdown for that reference.
Oh,
like, I was
hilarious.
just like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
They
presented it in a way that gave you enough information so that you got the gag.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get out your totems. We're heading into Inception land, says Dane. Anything else we want to say about the Barbs?
I'm good, I think.
All right.
I loved it. Yeah.
Well, thanks for hanging out with us. We will see you next Wednesday night at 8 o'clock. Hopefully there'll be more of us. Everyone's been busy tonight.
Yeah.
Except for us two, because we're amazing.
We're busy doing this.
And then we'll see you next Wednesday morning for Fresh Floppies.
Cool.
Hopefully Noel and I will be back at it. So thanks so much for hanging out with us. We love you guys, and we will talk at you later.